A narrow lead at the 150. End-cap from Butch Cassidy. Cylinder hitting the line hard. End-cap, Cylinder, Militarised late. Oh, barnstorming finish by Militarised.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot, and I've got Walt back from his little Melbourne trip to do the debate. I heard you were nearly best on.
It wasn't hard. You see who I was up against? No. It was a shame. I dead set. That's right. I built 3 minutes around hammering Shane Curlio, and then he didn't show up. Like I had Curlio and the Gingerbread Man was my first bit, and then Jesus Curlio and the ball bags was the second part, and I didn't get to use any of my material because he never showed up.
Could have been a margin job. DK, I heard you were up and about last Thursday night.
I was up and about.
Quick one. Oh, there's a landslide for under the flat 2 Madurian lemonades. Surely it got the cash, did it? Well, did he have one drink?
Yeah, he had one. He could have said, no, I'm not drinking. He said, no, I have one. He said, no, I'll try one. He said, what is this stuff? I said, it's melon liqueur, melon. And funny Scoot, because I said, who the other teetotaler, who if he's going to have a drink in the industry, he has a Madurian lemonade, was Nifty Neville Clements. And Walt works up and he's standing right there. Like I said, Walt, meet Neville Clements here. Hello, DK. Hello, Nifty. Have a Madurian lemonade. So it all worked in beautifully.
I thanked him for putting about 5 kids through college at Bet Easy. Neville Clements, when he used to be, all his smart money was coming back through in the day. He's still going.
Geez, wouldn't that be a foursome? The only people you're missing is Tom Waterhouse and Brad Davidson. Neither of those boys drink.
Oh, geez, I was wondering what the foursome was for that. I'm like, that's an interesting connecting the dots here. Do they not drink?
No.
Nico, I'll have another one, mate. What was it?
Nico
all right,
doesn't drink much either.
It was all right.
Nico?
Was all right. Sweet enough.
No, I'm not a big drinker. No.
Madurian lemonade for you next time you come out, Nico. So there you go. Melon liqueur. Beautiful. But no, having said that, Walt was a standout in the debate. Walt prepped. He was a rip. He had the room in stitches and very funny. Juppy probably ran a good second, and tailed off last was BZ.
What about BZ? We just thought he'd be the closer. He closed all right. Yeah, he closed his career in the debate department. Oh my God, it was terrible. BZ.
Did he have Richie Irvine covered?
Oh,
up in Sydney?
I wasn't there. I wouldn't know. But
did he go more than 30 seconds?
And I reckon Richie Irvine stayed for longer than 6 minutes after the debate was over too, which BZ
Where's
didn't.
BZ? He's gone.
Weird. Usually likes the ballet. He might be a changed man. He might have seen the light. Speaking of seeing the light, sounds like Palmerbet have seen the light. They've backflipped on their computer-generated puzzles on their bet slip, so a bit of power to the punter. Feels like we've finally had a win, and we might send a bit of an invoice into RV or Racing New South Wales. We're doing their work for them.
The best part about Palmerbet was the capture thing, and you got it removed. So your one victory is making the worst website in the world worse.
Well,
congratulations.
Well, if they weren't, I'm not sure if it's the right or wrong thing, but it's good that they've changed it, don't you think, DK?
Oh, 100. Yeah, I think they saw the lights. It weighed up the pros and cons, and thought they might have been getting away with one there, and just didn't make sense to me, especially against guys who've been betting with them for years and years. It's not like a new kid with a bot turned up and he's stripping them or anything, and they're making them do it. It was people who've been long-time punters complaining.
Be interesting to see whether they did it off their own back, or whether they got pushed.
Yeah, well, it all got a bit narky there, didn't it? And I think there's both sides having tweets there, and I think Kingsley's got an ongoing thing with them going anyway. So there was no love lost between the Palmers and Kingsley's crew and all that. So it got a bit narky there. It still might be.
Oh, I got no idea what you're talking about, DK, but could be. You could be on the money. Militarised was a big winner. I think we all lined up on that. So the Magic Man did the trick.
DK planted the seed, and then it all just it was a pile in, wasn't it?
It was a pile on.
It was a pile on.
Militarised?
Yeah, beautiful.
Blinkers, hey? Blinkers.
It was an interesting horse. Like I watched that. You thought, well, Cylinder certainly looked a moral beat first time, but then, mate, if it didn't get out, if it got out 20 metres later, it would have been a tragedy beat the winner. If it gets out 50 metres early, it probably puts 2 on them. It was a much better win than it probably looked the first time.
Absolutely.
I think Walt mentioned this in the debate too about the eye and stuff you can quantify with your eye. That's one of the last edges left, really, which is the gear changes and how they apply to certain horses and what they're going to do to certain horses. And it's one thing that still watching the race and learning the horse's manners, and then watching the blinkers, because the market can't quantify it, right? That horse is going to start 650 with blinkers or without blinkers, So it's That's
it. And blanket going, there's 8% return every time it does it. Good luck to those guys who manage things that way. But it's certainly that's what keeps people like us going. That's for sure. Is being able to try and turn that 8% into 100% somehow by learning what that actually does for each horse, and and the other way, horses that you think, well, hang on, they're putting blinkers on this. I think this is the last thing this horse needs, and betting accordingly.
And there's one, Nico, I'd know that that Ruggieri, which unfortunately got beat at sale when it was $15 into evens, but it went to Tura on Saturday with and it laid in at sale, right? Laid in the straight. Went to Tura on Saturday with the near side blinker and M. Cartwright, who's the left-hand whip rider, right?
Went like a rocket.
Went like a rocket, yeah. So that's right. So it's but just those
in a much easier race.
I know, but still, it
killed him.
Raced a lot truer, didn't it? The gear and the left-hand whip. So, and there's another one for the punters at Ballarat last Friday, race 1. I mean, going to look at race 1 last Friday. Mercanti, beaten 10, beaten 15, blinkers first time, win.
There was one at Godolphins went around yesterday. What to go to earmuffs, lugging bit, Hanovian noseband, 2 handlers, first start from Godolphin, goes around 4-1. Like, it's just
Hannibal Lecter style.
Yeah, like it's just weird. Like, I don't know. Obviously, it's a data-driven thing. Trial's okay, I guess, but yeah, those sorts of horses win 1 in a bazillion.
Gear on, gear in, gear off.
Yeah, well, it's just an insight into the horse's manners without knowing,
There's a little tweet on the screen. I thought this was interesting. A little Wednesday musing. What stables do you think place their horses the most and least efficiently? I think I can guess who DK says the least is, but a quick a yes and a no, or if you want to just keep it positive, maybe 1 or 2 stables that you're in love with how they place their horses, DK?
How they place their horses? Price places them well because he doesn't have to he's a realist, right? So he knows their level is, and he just, you listen to people who have got owners' horses with him, they send through their voice messages, and he just knows their level, like that. Doesn't have delusions of grandeur, and I think that the worst picks themselves, don't they? Everyone, so the first person who replied to Walt's tweet was the top of the list, Basuston.
I liked that there was one person put Archie Alexander 3rd worst, and then the next one was 3rd best, and I think he's a data-driven guy. And then I saw Archie chime in, geez, bit harsh there, Chrissy, or something, I think it was. It's they take it personally, but I guess my idea behind it is like exactly what you said. Some horses need to be put through the grades, they need to be educated. Some horses need to go down in grade. Like, it's just, you can see trainers that put thought into their placement more than others, and I was just interested to see what people thought. And that's what I love to see, is some people finding the same horses for the top of both lists. Like Kieran Maher got a good run there as a top, and I would have sort of thought he maybe so many horses, hard to place him, and it's, maximising. Annabelle got a bit of a hosing.
Oh, my mate's got a horse, and Lee Friedman, right? And there's people saying, well, Lee Friedman might be a bit past it. So it wins a benchmark 58 on Tuesday. And he said, I'm going to run it it's going to go into the online sale. Oh, no, now it's won that race. We'll put it in the Queensland Cup. I said, off a benchmark 58, for fuck's sake. Anyway.
And that's again a good side. To me, a horse, a trainer that places it on the Inglis is a good trainer too. Like as soon as they know it's reached its peak or it's reached its peak value, boom, on to the next one.
Yes, there's definitely a few horses nowadays that get lost in the system. I think like Nick Spur, like he was lost in the system down here, and they sold for 30,000, nearly won the Toowoomba Cup.
And after what? It was what happened? What was the main thing? When they look, what's happened to Nick Spur? Then it's gone boom, boom. Oh, there's that gear change again. Blinkers first time, different horse.
So yeah, when Big Stable was like, well, it's the same. Like you see some horses, and you're thinking, what are they doing running here? Like this would be much better off in a different stable, but it's just how it is at the moment, isn't it? And you probably, as a punter, you're probably in a good spot to sort of pick the ones you want to be with and the ones you want to be against, because, you're probably just doing as much work as they are placing the horses at the end of the day.
Well, that's the thing. Half the time you feel like you're placing them yourself, don't you? That's why it's so frustrating. And when, they come up with a wrong rider, in your opinion, obviously everyone's entitled to their opinion, but you get frustrated, don't you? Because you put as much effort, you probably put more effort into it because they're doing other things. You're thinking about it more than a lot of these ones are. So it's interesting.
Well, I've got one for the show. I said Benalla Cup for this horse all the way through. So we're firing up later.
They're the best. We can foresee it. Look at the calendar. Pick the race out yourself. So I wonder where this horse is going. There it is. Benalla Cup. Third up. Beautiful. And then there it is.
We'll fire up later, punters.
All right. Let's get into the menu for today's show. Donnie's back from his little surfing sojourn. He's made it in one piece from Cloud Break. So don't know how many times he hit the reef, but tipping it'd be more than the one Maduri for Waldy Boy. It's been a quiet week for us in the syndicate. We've just copped it every which way. There was Enterprise Lucia the other day, $2 into $1.20, so that one hurt, but we're sort of hovering in at plus 118 units at about 15% there. Espiona was a beautiful win last week, Walty, all over that one. Everest quality.
Geez, it went good.
Yeah, you couldn't say no, could you? Like, yeah, she's going to be strong at the end of 1,200 metres, and I'm hearing whispers Shinzo's still in the mix at Coolmore and around, and but I think that'll be the Waller choice. I would imagine. I can't see anything else jumping in that slot, so I think she'll line up, and she's got a few quirks, but I think the faster they go, the more she gets ironed out. So, and she probably should have finished very close to Sunshine in Paris, who I thought was just about should be favourite for the race. Obviously, she's gone a miss, unfortunately, but it's going to be interesting. It's just the lack of on speed is the only real weird part about the race at the moment. Other than that, it's a very interesting race lining up.
Hard to sack Shinzo off his last.
Well, it's hard. Like to be pulling up lame off a 1,400 and coming back to an Everest. Geez, it's a leap of faith, isn't it? It's I'm still hearing pretty strong whispers that Imperatriz will be in that Coolmore slot if she runs well in the Moir, and despite them coming out with 327 press conferences to say she's 1,000% not showing up, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, beauty. All right, Nico's going to cover Moonee Valley and Sandown. There's a sneaky Sandown Sunday meeting, like there was a sneaky Flemington meeting last week. So there's just absolute content back to back here. Punters have got a plethora of options at the moment. Azza, he's going to take a week off in the paddock. He's got prior commitments, so he got a amenable beat. Don't know what happened to it.
Lost a leg.
Didn't it? What? So with Azza out, I get a second chance with my moral segment. That's how I've justified.
Who was your moral last week?
Waterford.
What are you all these clowns carrying on about it? Where else was it going to be?
Pretty quiet.
What do you want him to do? Get off and carry it?
What if it wins this week? I just don't know if it can run a mile.
Mate, what is that the greatest? It's a dead set Saturday Group 3 Epsom with 73 Wallers, a couple of half-decent horses up the top that have got a bit of... It's just the weirdest race I've ever seen.
It used to be a good race, the Epsom, when I was young. Like,
not the star factor, is it?
It's just like, democracy manifests went like a rocket. It's just, who's favourite? Inevitable.
$7 favourite.
Man, it was the value when it was $15 2 days ago. Like it went like an absolute rocket first up. But like, how can Kovalika be half its price off their run the other day? But obviously that's been... Hey, what's that?
The Inevitable? Can he run a mile?
Oh, can he run a mile? He's won 2 or 3 times.
That's Hobart and Launceston and Moonee Valley. It's a bit of fake news there.
Well, what's the difference between that and a Group 3 at Randwick? What's the difference? What are you saying, the All-Star Mile's not a Group 3?
Moonee Valley.
Moonee Valley?
Yeah, Moonee Valley does strange things. I remember a horse, DK, it might have been your vintage, Regal Roller, 1,400 metre horse, got beaten, 3 lengths into Cox Players.
Moonee Valley does one thing. It relieves punters of their cash.
Well, that's what Azza keeps telling us.
That's all it does.
The Steamers need to lift. Speaking of lifting, Solcombe was very, very close at $11. Pretty good bet, but that horse is absolutely flying. But it's a lay segment at the moment for Tristan. If you want to take him on, make sure you jump on and get an account with TopSport. We're actually struggling with our top 2. We can get 1 leg in or half a leg in, but we just can't nail it. So we'll keep trying, because we're still getting okay prices there, and especially once the scratchings come out, you sort of eat the value early. Nico, let's dive straight into a horse that you're pretty horned up about. You sort of gave a little bit of a mention about it. Benalla Cup on Friday is the race. So it's race 8 Friday at Benalla, and Ain't No Deal Done is the horse you like, $2.35, Braden Star $3.50, Born a King $6.50, Wycliffe $9, Aaron Bay $9.50, and Cezero $11, Vardani $14, and that about rounds out the genuine chances, I would have thought. But Ain't No Deal Done beat First Immortal last start. Tell us why you like it.
Yeah, it was a big win. First Immortal obviously didn't have a lot of luck in this race, and he got everything go his way the other day and looked very good winning. But coming out of a strong race first up, Ain't No Deal Done, that race behind Amenable and Devoted. I think there was 5 winners out of that race, including him. He went to this race, copped a fast run race, got a very good ride by Billy Egan, who I think's going to suit this horse. He's on him again in the Benalla Cup. He seemed to get a lot out of him. First of all, was flashing home back to the fence. Hennessy Lad's pretty consistent. This horse, like I said at the top of the show, I sort of thought Benalla Cup looks his race, and he's ended up here. He's very good third up. He won the Hill Stakes as the 3-year-old third up. Last campaign third up, he had the glue on shoes go on and he still ran second to right you are, with a massive gap back to third. And then he's very consistent. This campaign, they took the glue on shoes off for the first time, first up. So I think he's in a really good spot. That win last start shows that. And I just don't think there's a lot of depth to this Benalla Cup. Braden Stars, 500 up, like it's been running all winter. Born a King had every possible chance to win last start at Moonee Valley, albeit it was in probably a stronger race than Ain't No Deal Done was. But the ratings out of that, so there's probably not that much between them. I think Ain't No Deal Done still has a fair bit of improvement to come and is a winner, unlike Born a King, who sort of just goes around. So thought he was going to be extremely hard to beat. Stays right down in the weight. So he has a lot of positives there for him in that race. And I thought, 235 at the moment with TopSport. I think it's a pretty attractive price. Hopefully Born a King stays in the race. We don't cop any deductions there. I think he should just be winning, and I thought he was the best bet of the weekend and probably the best bet for a while, to be honest. Pretty keen.
Tell you what, Nico, if you had a royal blue jacket, you'd probably get everything that you own and empty every account.
What do they call this?
Chips in.
He's bricked up, they say, don't they? He's bricked up. Yeah, beautiful.
Definitely.
Right
be
jockey,
winning.
right draw, Benalla. Looks suitable to me. So Zero's probably the horse that looks the danger there. If Frog just takes it the front and no one takes it on. Have to come back.
maybe, but he's another one that's probably going to get better the deeper he gets into his preparation. I think Ain't No Deal Done. This horse, he was favourite for the Derby early in his career and sort of had a few things not go his way. Then last preparation, he got to a pretty good level. He ran in the Hobart Cup where he started favourite. Probably didn't run 2,400, but I think they've found the right race for him here and just looks set to peak third up, which is generally where he runs a lot of his best races. So if he can't win that, it's probably a bit of a wide open race outside of him. So very keen.
Chips in Benalla. DK?
Oh, I just know that I'm going to respect what Nico says. I haven't done the race. I saw it in, but I haven't done in depth. But you were tipping him. I think we both were the other day because we were tipping all that form out of that Caulfield race is just enormous. And then he goes and there's only 2 horses you want to take out of that race the other day. Like they tailed the rest. And we saw what First Immortal did since. So third up, beautiful, more progression. No, I'd be sticking with Nico there. So it looks good to me.
Beautiful stuff. All right, the next one you like here, obviously it's the Moir, the Moir Stud Night. A couple of big races there. Amelia's Jewel looks pretty obvious. Imperatrice, obvious as well. And then the race we're going to have a look at is the 8th race, the Scarbourough Stakes, and Skirt Law's favourite, $3.70. She's also Shenanigans, $4.80. Inhibition, $7.50. Cigar Flick, $7.50. Ostmar, $11. Zurion, $11. Bossy Nick, $12. Cool Volante, $12. Chilled, $15, and that rounds out the guts of the chances there. The replay we're going to have a look at here is Ostmar, and this is the horse that Nico likes in the Godolphin Blue.
Yeah, I will say I am on a longer price, but I did think this was a good run. First up, she beat Alfonso, who come out and was a moral beaten at Geelong and then was probably a moral beaten at Flemington again. So that form stacking up. And then she went to this race. She's at last in this small field. They went quite fast, but I just sort of thought watching this race and sort of how it panned out as a quick run race, I think she's looking for 1,200. She just gets there on the line. There's obviously no form around her, but it was a tradesman-like victory. Off a fast run tempo, she's still come home, second fastest last 4, third fastest last 2 of the meeting. I know she was in a 1,000-metre race, but generally when they go that quick, they don't come home that fast. And I just think she's a filly now that's probably looking for 1,200 metres, gets a good draw, thinks she can posse up just in behind the speed. And if the gaps come her way, she doesn't have a dynamic turn of foot or anything, but I think she'll just keep plugging away and sort of at an each-way price. I think you could have a good look at her. The other horse I thought was definitely in the game was Bossy Nick. Recent trial was pretty good behind Azzopardi. She comes in with that Percy Sykes form, so you can definitely give her a tick, and was a winner down the straight at Flemington in very good style. I just wanted to be around the favourites, wanted to be around Skirt the Law and She's All Shenanigans. They're out of 2 fast run races now, the Quizette and then the Capped on Teebs last start. Skirt the Law come home like 99th, the best last 200 of the day. I just think up to 1,200 metres, they just may be a little flat here. And I just thought there was a few horses here that look, primed and set to go for a race like this that, in all honesty, you just could be better than them already and might have better setups. So Bossy Nick, I definitely want to back in the race. Also, Osmar, I think, is a good chance at 11s. then I think you probably have to have a look at Corvalon and Zerion. They may be 1,000 guineas fillies, but I think Bossy Nick, you can definitely have something on her, and Osmar may just be able to get away with it just in behind the speed. If the others are a bit flat and Bossy Nick, Corvalon and sort of Zerion are too far back, she probably gets the run of the race. So there's a bit doing there, but happy to be against 1 and 2 and sort of looking outside of the market for the rest.
I was with you. I thought that straight race was pretty average. I found 3 other horses. You found 2 of them, but I was the same. Cigar Flick, Curvalant and Zerion were very interesting runners. They're going to be strong. Cigar Flick, definitely not an outside leader horse the way it was ridden last start. If it sort of drifts back midfield, it's going to be dangerous, and I thought they might all be coming together. And yeah, I'm not knocking yours either at the same sort of price, but 100% the same as you around the top 2.
Yeah, Bossy Nick was the horse that jumped off the page to me. I could probably forgive it on that heavy track in the Percy Sykes at $12. I thought that was an interesting play, but whoa, looks a deep race and all the form out of it would just be super, super strong. But don't mind your angle here, playing around the favourites here, and I think
Patton will be obviously important for that race.
Absolutely, as it always is at the Valley, and it's just a tricky.
I think it will play like it did Fiend Day. I think that's going to be the way it rail back into the true. I don't think lane 1's going to be an advantage. I think it's probably going to be a disadvantage, and probably 3, 4, and even 5 off are probably really going to come into play. So if those leaders do get off the fence a little, they're probably right in play. But if they are staying towards those inside lanes, I think there does open up for those horses just off midfield that can sort of get into those lanes. So in a quaddie that could probably be pretty skinny, with Amelia's Jewel and Imperatrice who look hard to beat, there doesn't look too many chances in the start. Maybe you could sort of throw a few in that last leg take on, skirt the law and she's all shenanigans and hope for a result that way.
That start has buried me more races than ever. And I think you just act of God winners in that so many times over the years, the Bill start. It's just a nightmare of a creature of a race.
Well, hopefully Nico paints the picture pretty clear on his Telegram service. So he'll be doing Man Yard Mail, as I said earlier, for the Valley on Friday night. So 3 to 5 minutes before the off, you get his final yard thoughts. He absolutely launched Alligator Blood last weekend, max bet play, so he's definitely seeing them well at the moment, and it looks some interesting, very short favourites there, but some.
What did he say
racing.
about Dewey there? What did you say about Dewey before that race?
Oh yeah, I thought she looked well, and wasn't surprised that she improved. She was just those solid run races just didn't suit her. Like Dewey's best was in these fast run Australian Cup and BMW, and then she was in these absolute walks up in Sydney. So it was no shock at all that she improved. Yeah, I know a few people had a good ticket on her at I think 40s or 30s, but I don't think she would have beat Alligator Blood, but she probably should have definitely run second. So she looks on track, and Without a Fight also looks on track as well for the Caulfield Cup. I think they go straight into it now. They said Sam Friedman said on Tuesdays with Terry that he's not going to have another run. He'll go straight into the Caulfield Cup. So
and she'll go.
Is a good race, seemingly.
She'll go. What's it? Makybe Diva? Is that the next one? Or Turnbull. Sorry, and then or maybe Hill Stakes, just because it's worth so much money in Sydney and might come up really weak. But I think I was talking to Ed the other day. It's as good as he's ever had her, he reckons.
I think it's worth like $2 million.
It is. It's worth $2 million. That's why Who Your Mal didn't go around in the Epsom. Oh, I can't believe they didn't go around in the Epsom. But
I guess that's what Letitia will be going for as well, is it?
Maybe. Why is it not right? Who knows? He's got so many horses. There's just so many of these pop-up races. You don't even know what they are. Like that's the thing. Like Nico finding that horse goes to Benalla Cup. It's a miracle if you pick the right race they're going to now, because they've got 35 different options.
It's a tricky one. You just don't know when the carnival ends either. I was sort of trying to look through all the pattern to see when we could sort of take a break or go away for a little bit. But
it doesn't. It goes on to bloody December 12th now with Perth and all that.
We'll be bloody eating prawns, doing bloody...
Hey, the show never stops. It's just crap about having holidays and days off and, all got to get revived for the spring. Are you serious? Every day's a new day. We've got Wyong today. There's 16 meetings in New South Wales this week. They're all as good as the Cox Plate. Just keep running.
Beautiful. They had $6 million overnight, I'm told, at Randwick. So let's get stuck into the meeting. When I saw the weather report, I thought, here we go. Another 10, 12 bottomless Randwick track, but the gods have shined upon the Sydney racing. So I think we're going to get a good 4 surface unless they water the absolute bejesus out of it, which you couldn't put it past them.
I see Munsey's like the new Bensley or whatever, and I asked him if he could do a lap of the track with a GoPro stuck to his head so that we could get a really good look at the grass cover, but he denied that. But
would he make
what did
a
he
lap?
say about 5 or 6 mil? What's that?
Would he make a lap? He used to breathe very heavily. into the microphone.
Maybe on Brad Davo's shoulders or something. He could just jump on his shoulders and you could cart him around with the GoPro. And he said that'd make headlines in the news. He's a good man, Munsey. He's doing. He does provide some good content. It's good because people, talk to
Still
him.
want it.
Yeah, he's good.
Surprised he hasn't been snapped up. We might snap him up.
Well, I'm assuming that's what he's
Trying to get snapped up.
He's looking for an angle.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure he'll find one. He's a good operator.
Yeah, he is. Randwick Race 5, the Dulcify is the first race we're going to have a look at. Some really interesting racing up in Sydney. Tom Kitten is the favourite here to $2.15. Pushy is the mover here, 8 into $4.80. Cafe Millennium, $7. Raff Attack, $10. Tannhauser, $11. Ravello, $15. Ganbare, $17. Kintai, $21. Ajita, $21. Cap Ferrar, $31. Ashfall, $34. And you're starting to get really big odds for the rest of the runners here. We're going to have a look at Tom Kitten coming through the Ming Dynasty. Here he is in the Nico Blue.
The Nico Blue. Yeah, so he sat wide and back for pretty much the entire race. They did get along okay. No, nothing too crazy, but it wasn't easy to sort of run on from back and wide either. That's big Cafe Millennium coming down the outside. Kintai's one through the middle there. Sort of NCAP's come out and shown this form was pretty good. The other horse to probably take notice of was Raff Attack, who did work quite hard to get to the front there. It's on the fence running sort of 5th, 6th, something like that. Its effort was pretty good. I think he's just different gravy, Tom Kitten, to these horses. I think he's probably going to win the Spring Champion. I don't know if a horse like Militarize will land there. I doubt it will. I'm assuming sort of Cox Plate is more on its agenda if it's as good as it looks like it'll be. So, yeah, I Jedi mind screwed myself here by not taking the 450 Tom Kitten on Wednesday after thinking I was a genius last week, backing Royal Tribute each way at the $5 to see it start 280, and then I thought they were going to have to put up $4 plus once Fields came through here, and they go 280 and straight into 220. I don't think they're wrong. Hopefully it gets back out a little bit. I'm a big Pushy fan. Tried to buy it a few times, and he just keeps sort of raising the bar, but he's well deep into his first prep, and this horse is just starting to hit his straps. I keep calling him Tom Melbourne. I don't know why. It drives me crazy, but there's just, maybe Raff Attack up on speed's the danger. I would imagine if Pushy beats these horses, the sky's the limit for him, but I think Tom Kitten will just sit, 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever, and just round them up.
Any $4 in Nico's ledgers?
No. Well, I'm with Walt. I think he's a progressive horse, and I think 1600 metres will suit him. But I thought it was hard to ignore Cafe Millennium when he was flying down outside him, and he does go T Sherry to B Shin. That seems a bit jockey change. So,
sorry,
you saying that's a positive?
He can barely sit on. You keep telling me this T Sherry. DK, when you see that horse Cafe Millennium, he's sort of I liken him to say a drunken sailor. What can you guess that blinkers are going to do to a horse like that? So is he going to pull his head off and go absolutely crazy, or is it going to straighten him up? What's going to happen there?
Oh, generally they work best on horses who are green. In my opinion, that's when I've got. So that's generally for me. Horses green, and then the blinkers go on because they're not concentrating. They're doing a bit wrong. So generally, the first thing is it helps them concentrate. Not be see what's all around them and stuff like that. So I like seeing them on green horses. That's when they're there. I reckon you can quantify the most improvement.
Yeah, he might be the Spring Champion horse, and Tom Kitten's the miler, but 2,000 metres, I think it's pretty even playing, but Tom Kitten may have the advantage on Saturday.
If Cafe Millennium beats Tom Kitten, what's he talking? He's got the colours wrong?
He nearly beat it last start.
Nearly beat it. It's at 87 wide. Nash was just making sure he was nice and ready for this race, straight into the Spring Champ. Mate, he won't get near him.
Why?
Nico's lost the plot, mate. You already his back too. Well, you're completely gone, Nico. If Scooty's moral, he's probably going to chime in Scooty's moral, Cafe Millennium.
No.
I think he's got some breed. I don't think he's the horse. I'm going to take him on until he beats me. If he proves to be some champion, he's too big. He's got too many issues. If he runs past Tom Kitten, I'll be on the floor. I'll be on the canvas.
Can't wait to see it.
I just can't see it possibly happening.
I can. I'll just watch that last run, and there you get a heaps better jockey. And DK just told me that the blinkers are going to work.
Shin going to box seat him?
Didn't we just say at the start of the show, gear on, gear in, gear off?
And like you said, green horses it suits. That's always not green. It's just a Clydesdale. It's a good Clydesdale, but it's a Clydesdale. Blinkers aren't going to sharpen it. If Shin box seats at 4th, you just say, well, it was Shin, not the horse.
I see. If someone was just going to give me a free bet, I'd rather take the $8 Cafe Millennium.
Yeah, well, and then you'd be Centrelink on Monday. That's all right. What can you do?
DK,
You can lead a horse to water.
you gonna back Cafe Millennium just to oppose Walt? You gonna get on mine and Nico's shoulders?
I don't even know the horse.
Mate, he's about 17 hands. He won his first start, looked like Burnborough, and he hasn't done anything. So I'm sure he had a breathing op or something, didn't he? He had something happen from his first to second prep.
This is the day. Randwick 1600, blinkers on, B Shin, better jockey. Back him this weekend, and then if he lets you down, you can give him life.
And if he lets you down next week, he'll be there with the kids riding him as the Clydesdale rides out the back.
Okay. Walter, he knows better than us, so make sure you just launch into the price.
Just wait.
Tom
Don't literally the price. Wait, you should get better price.
Okay. We'll try and fish out $3 at least, and if you got a boost, you got access to a boost, give it a little
Boost it up.
Boost it up. Race 6 is the next on the Flight Stakes, an absolute beauty here. You got Tiz Invincible, just taken all before of this prep. $2.60 Kamachi, $5 Tropical Squall, $6.50 Molly Knickers, $6.50 Unique Ambition 9, $2 Vita 11, Frenchie Denver 13. Summer Loving, Tristan's horse it's got just had no luck all prep this thing, $26, and then Private Legacy, $34. Been racing really well for a horse that may only still be a maiden or only a Class 1 horse. But let's have a look at a couple of replays. The first one we're going to have a look at here is the Tiz Invincible replay. She wins. She's in the purple, and the horse that Walt likes is behind it in the red with no luck. It's called Unique Ambition.
So way back, it's sort of running 7th, 8th in behind the China Bloodstock horse there. Sort of goes for about 50 metres here and then runs straight up there, clackers. Sort of that's in behind it. So Tiz Invincible, they went really slow here, probably too slow. Tropical Squall, I really wanted to make excuses for it, but she's been in really slow run races where she's controlled all three and obviously got away with a maiden and won pretty well at Kensington track. But yeah, it's hard to be too positive about what she did there. So looking away from her, Tiz Invincible had that perfect run behind him. You're looking at Molly Knickers here.
Yeah, in
so
the white.
Molly Knickers in the Moody nose roll. They went pretty quick here, but just never really got to wind up, and I think that's the sort of key to this horse. Unfortunately, it's drawn one Saturday, but it never really gets to go through its gears here, and I think it would have won the race if it could have.
It missed the start by about 4 lengths as well, so I think it definitely should have won.
Yeah, so...
another bad beat.
Yeah. Tiz Invincible draws 13. That's probably the key to wanting to take it on here. I think there is a bit of wind around predicted for Saturday, so if it sort of ends up outside leader... It's box seated a couple of times this prep and looked pretty good, but up to the mile, slow run race there last time, you'd expect that Tropical Squall probably won't be making that same mistake and at least making a bit of a test to try and play into her hands. And hopefully, you've got the big who rode Unique Ambition last start? Was it Chadley? I think it was Chad. So we've got Chad to J Mac with what's going on it? Come on,
blinkers
on. So it's drawn directly inside Tiz Invincible. I'm expecting J-Mac to put it in the race, use up Tiz Invincible to give it cover and settle just behind them. And I thought it was the one out of that race at sort of 10-1 that could improve that, where the others all basically had PRs. And then looking for left field form, Molly Knickers is the one. She's just hit the line every start. Big, strong-looking thing. Just, as I said, gate one, bit of a nightmare. But if it gets to the middle when it needs to, I think she's the one that'll be winding up strongly.
This is also, I sort of mentioned in your chat group, I just noticed this growing trend of horses that start at 1,200 metres and then they just boost them up to 1,600 second start. So what do you think about that? And I'll ask DK's thoughts on that as well.
Well, for me, as a rule, I want it to be sort of a 2,000 metre horse to cope with that jump. Or, maybe 2 1,200s to a 16's okay. 12 straight to 16 for a mile is not easy. So you want it to be in a very good stable to cope with that. And like I've had 3 trials or something like that. You want them to have decent conditioning to cope with a 12 to a 1,600 metre jump, especially in a real race. If it's going to a small field, something like that, it's different again. But 12 to a mile going into a real race is definitely you need to have probably a 2,000 metre engine under your hood to cope with it.
She did have a bit of residual fitness because that win was back in late July in the Vobis Gold Ingo. She was sensational that day as well. What do you think about this setup, DK? And the question I just posed to Walt.
I'm personally much bigger on the odd number distances, up in distance. So 1,300 first up's great platform for a mile. They only go up 300. They run well, like those Sandown 1,300 metre maidens, some other ones. I said horses off going up in distance off 1,000 metres. Off going up in distance off 1,100. Much different proposition. 11 going to 13, nice, Same in 1,500 to 1,700 to 1,800 can handle. So like the 300, the 400, like the 12s to 16s, it's getting a bit murky. Like you said, Walt says, you want to sort of prove and stay there. But otherwise, love 1,300s up to a mile. All the time, especially when they're first up. The trainer's telling you they're an 1,800 to 2,000 metre horse anyway. So so much prefer the odd numbers there.
It's got gears though, isn't it, Nico? Do you like? It's just a big, strong looking, perfect Moonee horse. It just looks like it's going to eat a mile up to me.
Oh yeah, and we backed her last day out of the yard because we had a big crack at her in the ingot, and then she looks like a colt. Like, she's very well built. They did say that she probably doesn't. Well, they're running here because they don't think they'll be able to keep her up for as long. I heard on the wrap, so I think they've gone straight 12 to 16 because they reckon she's ready to fire, and that might be the end of her. So, she'll be one of the picks of the yard for sure in that race. I think she's the best filly out of Melbourne, but she does have a little bit of an iffy setup, but she's got a lot of ability, and she's just a line finder. So, Barrier one's a little tricky. I thought Toodle Avita is probably the horse that's probably in play from the back markers with Marira going on. That looks a big jockey change as well. But Molly Nick she's one of my girlfriends, so I'll probably stick with her.
Could be moral exacta. Tis invincible. Molly Nick is unique ambition. That's my moral exotic. I've just invented a new little thing.
I love Unique Ambition winning this after you get it beaten a maiden on the Wednesday at the Kenzo first. I just love the old the horse you get beaten a maiden, baking their maiden in Group 1s. It's just a great feeling.
Mm. There's the one that comes. Is it Major Beale? Major Beale got beaten in the midweekers and then come out and won the Derby.
Yeah, I think he got beat.
Yeah, you always enjoy those ones. They're hard to get out of your brain. All right, let's look at the feature, the lackluster feature, but it is a Group 1. The Inevitable's been all the rage in the Epsom Handicap early market, 14 into 650, which is a crazy move, really. Hope in Your Heart, $8. Nugget, $8.50. Kovalika, $9.50. Redina is $12. Big chance for Kathy. Converge, $13. Democracy Manifest, $14. Pounding, $15. Golden Mile, $18. Waterford, my old lover, $18. Communist, $21. Alencia, $21. Mo Oberon, $26. Bit of a tail. Madame Pomeroy going global. Barbie's Hawks, Kerwin's Lane, Duke de Sessa. Odd placement, Williamsburg. Diamill's going to be probably strong late, but maybe outclassed. And then you've got Political Debate, who's on the edge of gaining entry here. Let's have a look at a couple of replays, the key lead-ups. First one here is the Inevitable Roaring Home. Kovlika's in this one in the white.
Waterford's right in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Inevitable's in the green with a white cap coming outside it. They've absolutely walked here. Kerwin's Lane's sort of backing behind. Kovalika is the one in the blue cap outside it. So Inevitable just runs away from Kovalika, goes straight past Waterford, that the milk drinker that was the lay of the year next start when it came out and was out the back. Sorry, I'm just trying to trigger this bloke here. It seems to be working.
Cheap run.
Inevitable ran fastest the last 8-6, 4-2, 150 for the day. Just sort of burst through the line off a 1,300 metre run. It was the run of the race there. So who we got here?
We got Hope in Your Heart back in the ruck in the white and green. Democracy Manifest out wide.
It's Democracy Manifest went to the Cameron and smashed them there. Very good ride, but ran, an exciting rating there. Hope in Your Heart sort of through the middle, poking through. Looks like she was a bit unlucky. Did go to the trials after this.
And Pericles, the winner, who's been scratched as well.
Yeah, Pericles has been scratched. So, yeah, it's an interesting race. I know we joke it's a bit of a low-class race, and that sort of 56 top weight, like my Oberon being the top weight and the Epsom's pretty crazy. But the Inevitable looked the value. It was $15 like a day ago, 2 days ago, and I sort of kept coming back to it. Hope in Your Heart's obviously got a good chance, but, they're well found now in the market, and sort of taking $8 about Hope in Your Heart and Epsom, you would never thought it was possible. I thought the other value, my Oberon's been running well, weight for age, and so is Pounding. It's a bit of a moody fest here. It's been running quite well, got a huge mile record and just looks a little bit forgotten. I've just got to be against these things down in the white. Radine is running in benchmark 78s 2 starts ago. I love the horse, thought he was really good first up. Democracy Manifest, I think, a mile is as far as he runs, even though he sort of burst through the line there the other day. I think it was just too good to be true. the second horse there was the thing of John Sargent's wasn't ready. At one pace sort of thing, he sort of put him away. Like he'd have to be 50-1 in a race like this off that ride. I just, coming back to quality and weight for age form, I'm saying Pounding and my Oberon are the value, but sort of the Inevitable and Hope in Your Heart are going in Cornellas and things like that. I can't find Kovalika off that run. I'm wary of Democracy Manifest and Redina down in the weights, the Woloff 7 runner factor. But I think my Oberon and Pounding are silly odds, to be honest.
Melbourne boys, make some noise.
You got anything, DK?
No.
I've had a good crack at Alencia early, and then sort of the preparation hasn't really worked out for her, but she'll be my best result in the race by far due to some futures betting. I will say with the Inevitable, he is a horse. Well, I think it's mainly due to the rider that he lays in nearly every start, and now that's in going the Melbourne way of going late in the All-Star Mile. All his wins in Tassie he lays in. Perez whipping the right hand up in Sydney. There could be a chance he just goes Gumball straight, given that's probably the reason why he does lay in. So I think that's a big positive for the horse, just getting the Sydney way of going with that rider. I thought Pounding's definitely in play. And, looking down the field, sort of Alencia and Redina, Waterford do look okay chances right there at the bottom of the weights, but it's not really that big a weight scale anyway, is it? With the Neville second top weight.
Shows you.
That's what I mean. 50 doesn't mean a lot, does it?
No. It's not like they're giving the top weights 9 kilos or anything. It's only 5.5. So, I'm probably with the Inevitable, but I'd rather 14s and 7s, that's for sure.
It was a great bet at $14. It was a great bet. That run was insane. And Nick again, like I said, the 13 to a mile second up's probably not ideal, but I think they had it pretty ready to go, and this was obviously their target all along. So I'm backing them to get it right.
I thought Nugget was actually really well placed here, and I nearly fell off my chair when Connections told me that they were thinking about scratching off the wide gate. And I thought, why would you this is absolute perfect scenario. Like, this horse has got all the form around Mr. Brightside, Alligator Blood, and he's just sitting there at 54 kilos. He seems to be the best in out of all these horses that I can sort of find. He's another one that's been sort of $13 in. I was really...
He was in that race with the Inevitable?
He's got a favourite.
Yeah, he sat 1-1, didn't he? Yep.
Yeah. So that was just a little pipe opener. I don't know who rode him that day. It was a Collett. Collett rode him that day. Now he gets Damien Oliver, big race rider, one of my mates. And, there's just some really weird placement of a couple of horses here. I don't know what's going on with Duke DeCessa. I thought his run first up was good enough if this horse is ready, but they just keep talking about Caulfield Cups. So just strange. Like, I can't figure out why J-Mac's been booked for going global. I thought it was just a run last time. Kovalika was interesting. What'd you make of it? It trialled like an absolute bomb, I thought.
Really slow run trial, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like in mid, this is after that run?
Afterwards, it went like a bloody cart horse first up, and then it's come out bomb trial, albeit Renaissance was pushed along, but he could be back, the horse. But
weird that Waller looks like he's targeted this with his second-rate horse. Like it's an Epsom. When did the Epsom become an afterthought? Like, I don't know. Like, he's dead set got 4 horses at home that looked ideally placed in here, and he's running 7 in it that, don't look ideally placed. Well, they not terribly thick of chances. You wouldn't be surprised if 3 or 4 of them won, but that's just because of it's just weird. When did the Epsom become an afterthought? What is it worth? It's like $2 million or something, isn't it?
I would have just been chips in a tissue.
So it's worth less than a Hill Stakes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, work that out. Why is that? Because it's a lead up to the what do they call it now? The King E2. What's it called?
I don't know. It's very hard to follow.
The King Charles.
Is that what it's called?
I don't even know.
No, they've just pumped money into like the Hill Stakes and those kind of races. The Rosehill Cup, that's $1 million just to get horses away from Melbourne, from the Might and Power, the Coonji and the Cox Plate Caulfield Cup. I would have thought.
Sounds like it's going to work.
That's why the money's in them.
Well, it is work.
It's
a mess.
Exactly. So
that's all it is.
But it is because a lot of horses are down in Melbourne now, settled, and sort of want to be getting towards races like Cox Plates, Caulfield Cups, and Connections, rightly so, are like, hang on, there's a race up there worth $2 million. Why aren't we in it? So it's disruptive, but it works.
Yeah, I think the market's found a lot of the chances. I can't really find many really good angles here, and I used to have a horn for the race, and now I sort of don't. I really wanted to take on Pericles, but now he's sort of scratching. He's taking a bit of.
I reckon he's good to take him on.
Huh?
I think he's a good horse to take on.
We scratch. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's not
good horse to take on.
Racingwatch.com.au for more of Walt's stuff. he was flapping around about the inevitable, so I'm sure lots of people in his chat room have snapped up that early market price, and I dare say he's already on it. So you can find those little pieces of gold all over the floor in the Telegram group or the chat room. So make sure to check out racingwatch.com.au. All right, it's everyone's favourite segment of the week, Scooty's Moral. I think we've gone, 3 or 4 from 5, or no one really cares.
Mate, we don't
anyway.
live in the past. This show is all about last week's performances only.
All right, let's go. Randwick Race 4, Benchmark 88, Altivo 330, Unspoken, Waltz Horse 370, Renaissance Woman 850, for Valor 10, Political Debate $12, Stroke of Luck 18, and then there's a lot of horses just first up, sort of going out for a little bit of a bowl along. My model for the week is Altivo. A lot of people would be turned off by wide draws, especially Chris Waller. He hates them. I'm sort of tipping this horse just to prove that you can win off wide draws. But Altivo is buried maybe 6 or 5 back on the fence. He's absolutely bolting in the Chautauqua colours here. Just runs up arses the whole time. And I think if he gets clear running, he would have won. So this tells me that this horse is just come back absolutely super. I think 1600's a much better scenario for it. Zach Lloyd sticks, so he's just going to have to stay out of trouble here. Drops 5 kilos, which is beautiful. This horse is just rising through his grades, handles any type of track conditions. As I said, there's just so many horses here that are just first up. And I thought, as I already mentioned, the Renaissance Woman trial was only fair. My notes were that he made Kovalik look like Winks in that trial. Unspoken's the obvious, gets a nice run. But again, have to put your nuts on the line. I think this is the horse definitely going places, Altivo, and like everything about him. Political Debate, I think, might be going to the Epsom, so I think they're just going to hang on to hear whether they get a run. So there might be a couple of Wallers scratched off the wide gates, and he might save a couple of his runners in the Epsom for another day, because I think he's poo-pooed a couple of the horses that have drawn wide as Chris Waller does. But that is another point that I like to try and make. Nugget's a classic example. He can go and I think he's just well suited in the Epsom, but a horse like Altivo, he's perfectly suited, and sometimes you just need to take on these wide gates. And I prefer to back horses off wide draws rather than throw the toys out of the cot.
Me too, but I'm just scared of about 10 good horses here, as in Renaissance Woman, Promises Kept, Stroke of Luck, Andalus, Premise. There's just so many good horses in this race, and trying to guess whether they're right or not, and whether Altivo's up to them. That scares me. It was a race I got pretty excited about, just trying to find it, but there was just too many of them. There's just too many good horses in this race. How the heck he stays on it after the ride he gave it first up, Zach, I don't know. But, there's obviously a love affair there at the moment between him and that camp. And how does he ride it? Where does he go? It's a good race. It's an interesting race.
Cracking race.
Mate, I don't know. And the betting will be interesting too, to be honest. I don't know. There's a few horses they could come for there, but I wouldn't be surprised if they came for yours as well off that run first up. It's an intriguing race. Scooty's jumped in the deep end here.
I like it. Well, I could get on and tip all these $1.70
I understand
chances.
exactly what you're saying.
$2 chances.
There's 2 angles to take. You say they're not already, and this horse is, and it's going to be, this is after that run, they'll be positive and whatever. Or it's danger Will Robinson. But, if you're right, it could start 6-4 and piss him.
There's just a couple of his runs down in Melbourne, and Nick, I remember him like the day at Sandown and Flemington. He's just all class. He's just a line finder, this horse.
Yeah, I think he's a group horse for sure. It's just how he gets there. Now they got to get his rating up, and he could probably end up in maybe a Rosehill Cup or something like that. One of those $1 million races talking about before. I think that's where he probably end up. 2,000 metre horse in time, but he's just got to overcome a few things there from the draw. Really,
super strong lane, I think. All right, that's my moral for the week. I think he's a great bet. So we might do a TopSport promo. We might do a treble because there's a couple of shorties there. So we might do Ain't No Deal Done top 2, Tom Kitten top 2, and then my leg might be the chinky leg this week, Altivo. So we'll get Tristan to work out a price there. Make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. That's how I do the form. I can just tiptoe into any jurisdiction and find winners all across the eastern states. I could do Perth if I wanted to. I could do Darwin, Adelaide. I have punting form and will travel. Donnie is back, as I said, from his surfing sojourn, and he's head first into Eagle Farm form.
G'day, team. Donnie's here with the best bets for this weekend's racing. cracking cards at Eagle Farm and Randwick. We're on Eagle Farm for the best bets this weekend. The first one comes up in race 6. I'm backing 2 horses, Tenzing and Sebring Girl. Pretty keen to take on the favourite Kokonatsu here. It's had all favours the last couple. It looks way too short, around $3. So Tenzing was wide last start. Gets a decent jockey change. Step up in distance suits. Around the $4.60 mark. Looks a great bet, as does Sebring Girl. He'll look to lead. He won the lead-up race against Tenzing last start. It's got Bailey Wheeler, Stewie Kendrick in form stable. They look 2 great players, making Tenzing the bigger winner. Go to race 9, Ekaterina. It's $4.40, $4.60, $1.80 the place. I think it's a bet to nothing. I'm happy to back this thing each way. The only danger is the Rastro. He looks the lead, gets full control and maybe too strong. But if Ekaterina can sit within a few lengths, or is there any pressure on Zarestro, it's going to be the one finishing off over the top. It'll definitely run a play, so happy to back Ekaterina each way. So the 2 best bets are race 6, Tenzing and Sebring Girl, and then the lucky last at Eagle Farm, Ekaterina each way. Good luck.
Interesting one. That Tenzing was given an absolute horror run last start. I think it'll be super, super hard to beat second chance at the mile, but Barrier 11 might have the same problem.
There's one certainty in racing at the moment. That's Jimmy Orman is being absolutely smashed. It's just crazy how short some of his are starting, and especially sort of you notice when he pairs up with Gollan. So, I like those sorts of angles, trying to find a chinky favourite to begin with, and then Tenzing does make sense. I don't know that form that well. I do. There's a horse up there called Mission of Love in race 4 that paraded like an absolute lunatic at first up, and they backed it like there was no settling, and it went like there was no settling. I went back and looked at its form. Holy cow, this thing's got an engine. I don't know who does mounting yard up there, but if this horse shows up in a good mood, good luck holding it out in race 4, Mission of Love.
I've had a look at that race. Donnie and I have spoken about that one. He's keen on the 16 Mission of Love, and I thought the 2 is absolutely ready to roll a ton of delight. So I think that one's been about 17 into 13 already as well. So it was a super run first up in the No Metro race, and the Thorntons have that horse absolutely flying. He'll be super strong at the 1500. So you could probably back both of those, a ton of delight and Mission of Love, and you'd probably be collecting.
Yeah, horses don't parade like this horse did and go like it did the other day. They just don't. I know it's Sunshine Coast, but Eagle Farm's big open track too. I think it's a pretty special horse, Mission of Love.
Beautiful. All right, there's a little bonus 2-bet strategy up at Eagle Farm. And as we sort of said, Donnie said race 9, number 5, Ekaterina. It's interesting that he's made a lot of money on that favourite, so it's interesting that he's jumped off Zarastro. So this horse was pretty good at carnival time, Ekaterina.
This is Timmy's horse. It's a rocket. Yeah, there was no horse going better in the country than it last preparation. Claim looks, if it jumps, it'll be tough to hold out for sure.
I think, did it win the last start of its prep and they absolutely truckloaded it?
I think it sat, it still got back, but it was, that was
massive.
That was good to us that day. They put up a silly price, didn't they? They put up and it just was too fast for him. But it can sustain a sprint as well as anything in Brisbane.
All right, here's TopSport Steam. Hopefully they're a bit more accurate this week, or Johnny will hope so. Race 6, number 12, Unique Ambition, $1,000 at $10.
Yeah, $10. Wow.
You can get 11 at the moment. It's a bit soft.
It's a weird one because if it didn't have JMac, I reckon you get $15. But I'm definitely not knocking that bet. I think it's I'd probably mark it $6 or $7 chance, something like that.
And the next one here is $300 at $51. Communist. Well, I think it's getting it's winkers again, visor off. He's just been doing nothing in his races. No real.
It's that sort of horse, though, isn't it? I think did it win a Randwick Guineas or something at that sort of price? It's not legless, and it can settle sort of in that 4th, 5th, 6th sweet spot for an Epsom. I'm not knocking it at 50s.
This could be super multi. Magic Man's bet here. Randwick race 8, number 10, Kovalika. So trial purpose would be all over this one.
If it wins, good luck. The only way it wins is if they put hurdles up.
It's interesting to figure out where its target is.
Yeah. We just worked it out.
What?
Hurdles.
Randwick race 9, number 16, Future History, $200 at $34 in the Metro. Just Fine goes around $1.70.
What about that? $1.65 in a Metrop. Has anyone ever been that short? I was like, wow. Schumacher.
What's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I hate the race with a passion. The Metrop, it's a bit like the Bill Stutt. It just does some weird things happen in this race, but I can't imagine a horse has started much shorter than that. It'd be interesting, but its 2 wins have been visually incredible, fast times, sat outside leader, did all the work. Yeah.
Any thoughts on the Metrop?
Yeah, I went looking for Mr. Waterville and he was second pick. I thought he'd be a bit hidden and then everyone seemed to have found him. So I actually think Future History will be suited getting to 2,400. Apparently some of his form overseas and his figures and ratings is off the charts. And then he's been in 2 very slowly run 2,000 metre races, his last 2. I think he'll be better suited at a faster tempo and probably suited now at 24 as well. So does he get Yendel? I'm pretty sure Yendel's on him.
Yeah, he's got Yendel.
Not the worst chance at 30s, not at all.
Yeah, and I've backed Ho Khan each way at $117 or $21 a place. Mitchell Freedman's got a lot of patience sticking with Talia Hope, especially after the last couple of starts. But I think this horse ran along pretty well in an Australian Cup last preparation. Only got beaten 2.9 to a horse called Douay, I think at Over, Spanish Mission, and those sort of horses. So I think 60 kilos down to 52.5 if you make a case for Future History. $17 a place looks all right for Ho Khan. Absolute airborne on. This is an interesting one. Like, out of all the races, they've chosen to throw this horse in the deep end. I was hoping it'd go to like some lowly race and you could still get, the bookies might accidentally put up $20 and you get a massive price and smash it in an easy race. But here we are in a Group 1 Metro.
Do you think they'll let Man's Voice out of park? Do you think they'll let it actually click into gear at any point during this race? Or am I just seeing things in the horse's cast?
Flemington?
It's
Moonee Valley
weird.
Cup?
It's the horse I can see winning this race at 50. He's like, there's no doubt. I know I love the horse too much, but I've never seen, like last start, it was just like literally a barrier trot.
Handbrake on, wasn't it?
It was just super weird. And first up wasn't much different. It's interesting to me. Cleveland looked like it had a barrier trial in the Newcastle Cup as well, but they're the 2 horses I've got an eye on, just maybe not even for Saturday, but they're 40-1 or 25-1 and 40-1. So.
Got MD on it. He's found his jockey.
Yeah.
To turn him on.
On Man's Voice, that's right. And what's that mean? Does that mean, well, I think he's got a bit of weight in the Cup, so I think he's got like 54 or something like that. Does he get in, Nico? Last year's Derby winner? Will he get a start in the Melbourne Cup?
Yes, he will. Yep.
Yeah, cool. So probably that's, I think I'm probably kidding myself, but he's my early horse that I thought was the best of the locals' chances for the Melbourne Cup this year. So it'll be interesting to see if he progresses or he's just, I've lost the plot completely, which is, 98.7% chance of being the way.
If you do like a roughie in the race, cost you nothing. You just kick yourself if one of these things bobs up at whether it's Cleveland or Calipore or Future History or Man's Voice or, Ho Khan, any of our sort of love stories here. But, Benno at $8.50. I don't want any part of that. Yeah.
That's what makes you interested in the race, but then that's why it makes sense that this horse is going to be even money. It's just, it's a bit of the moon's aligning, isn't it? There's not much around coming through that have target. Again, like Metrop just doesn't, it's not a target race. Like, what the heck? It's not a target race.
Crazy. DK, you're on a roll. 2 out of 2. DK's moral for last week was Ryuki. Geelong, I was absolutely kicking myself. I think it was $5.50 when you tipped it. Stopped the show.
I ran $5.50, yeah.
That was
Good
into
win,
$3.70,
actually.
and so I bloody kicked the dog. Poor old Rex, the sausage dog, copped it, and then Dad texted me when I was out, completely missed the race, out to $6, saw how fat it was late, and I was absolutely filthy.
It was a good win in the end. Did its usual, missed the start trick, and Michelle rode the leader at treat. She walked on it from the 8th, the 1,000 to the 6th, and then scooted clear and reeled off some good sections to win Ryuki. So it's I know she misses a start and need luck, but she did well. She's back well this prep, so finally hit the target at a bit of odds.
Beautiful.
Prices aren't up for Benalla Maidens tomorrow, but I'm going to tip race 3, Nico, Steal the Sun. She's I spotted her getting home late on debut at Seymour. I thought, you got a bit of talent. And then she went round again at Echuca behind him. There was an even money favourite who led and won. But she showed herself up a bit there, running second, unfortunately. Would have been nice if she was hidden back in behind him again. But look, she still does, like speaking about drunken sailors earlier, she's a bit of a drunken sailor herself, but she's got some raw talent and low draw. If she can just park there tomorrow, I just think, she's got a stack of raw talent. And look, she'll do a little bit wrong at some stage, but I think she's easily good enough to win a Benalla Mile Maiden. So I and I assume she's got no SP factor against her name and stuff like that, so she should be a little bit of some sort of price anyway. So Steal the Sun, Nico.
Yeah, I could come in there. It was a big run last night at Chuka, wasn't
It was
it?
a good run, yeah.
flew
But even if you go and have a look at its debut behind Just Press Send, Guerrero won yesterday, so that form's all right. She was 101 there. Obviously, she was just one of those first starters. But you can get through. So the market with first starters can be, take it into the SP into consideration as much as you would a horses who have raced. So she might sneak through with a couple of sort of longer priced SPs there. But yep, Raw Talent will back that horse in tomorrow, Isaac. Isaac. He was here early, got Isaac on the brain. Happy birthday, young fella, my young bloke Isaac. 11th birthday today, so growing into a fine young man. Isaac, he was in here early having a play around. Scoot found him.
Tell you what,
You could have held him back 2 days so that he could pop out on the best day of the year.
that's Walt's birthday.
Saturday, yeah.
Jesus.
Well, he
Same
was
as
born on a grand final day. That was good. So he's born. I was a Hawks supporter presenting with the Hawthorn scarf. Like he came out 9:30 in the morning, then the bloody Hawks were in front for 3 quarters, got rolled by the Swans in the last quarter. That was good. Capped off grand final. And then he gets to an age and he wants to barrack for the Bombers, the arch enemy. Oh, anyway.
My little bloke popped out about a week before Souths won their first premiership in 8 million years. So he was a lucky charm, but now I've got to find another one now. They can't win against it.
Can't get close. DK's best on Friday's Benalla race 3, number 10, Steal the Sun. So hopefully the bookies put up the wrong price there. All right, grand final. Yeah, it's AFL grand final week. I think DK and I are on the Lions. Nico,
Yeah,
Carlton,
Lions for
man,
me.
you guys gave a bit of a yelp. I thought you were full of courage. Who do you think wins the big one, Nico?
Well, all right, but no, I think the Pies will win. I can't see them getting beat, to be honest. I think they got a bit too much class on their side.
Oh,
Brisbane double.
Broncos, Lions.
Broncos Lions.
Yeah.
Unload.
Everything happening in Queensland. The Sunshine State.
We're just going to go down there. We're going to take it out of them in Melbourne, and then we're going to take it out of them in Sydney as well.
Yeah.
I sound like a goddamn Queenslander.
What a great thing to be. Born and bred me. All right, great stuff. Hopefully we've found you guys a couple of winners, and good luck over the weekend. Again, it's a marathon, not a sprint, so hopefully you chip around the edges and don't fall into too many of those short favourites, and hopefully you have a great weekend on the pump. Good luck, and thanks, boys, and we'll see you next week.